Hey guys, how you doing? It's Brad with atrepodcast.com, all things real estate. Very excited about my next guest today. We have Eddie Blanco. Now, he is a broker owner of Stratwell in Florida. Eddie started real estate in 1998. He was voted top 10 of Latino agents nationwide by NAREP 2 consecutive years in a row in 2015 and 2016. Eddie is number 14 in Florida for 2020 with team-owned brokerages, with over $70 million sold in 2019 and 2019. He's a broker owner of a small team at Stratwell and co-founder of their YouTube channel. Eddie was chairman of the Economic Development Committee for the town of Miami Lakes in 2018 and 2019, and the founding president of NAREP South Florida in 2010. He also serves on the board of governors for the Miami Association of Realtors for 2020 and 2021. Eddie's been married for 19 years. He has 4 kids between the ages of 10 and 16. Wow, Eddie, that's really impressive, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The most impressive, I think, of that is the 4 kids.
Yeah, I have 2 and I'm tired.
Bro, it's crazy. Yeah, for sure.
So Eddie, you've been in real estate since 1998. You know, I started in 98 as well.
Oh yeah, no
So
kidding.
we're about the same. For those of you, well, actually, none of you would know this, to my listeners all over the country, but Eddie and I actually met in a 5-star event. We kind of saw each other, and then we never really spoke, and we ended up having dinner together at an airport in Dallas, Texas, right?
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
that's right. Yeah,
And that is, you know, we actually, it was a really, it was probably one of the best parts of the event for me, was sitting with him.
For sure.
Airport. He's a very successful Miami agent, and we got a really, he opened his, you know, his business to me, and we talked, and I did to him, and about what makes each other successful. And I really learned a lot from him. So the first person I thought about when I started to open this up all around the country was Eddie, and I hope I'm not butchering your last name, Blanco.
Blanco, that's it. That's it.
I
Oh,
like-
by the
you
way,
like
there's a picture of my kids up there, right there.
Oh,
Can't really see it that well, but because there's a
what
light
a
glare on
beautiful
it.
family.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And 10 to 16, I have 2 15-year-old girls.
Oh yeah.
So, right?
Yeah.
So Eddie, you primarily do standard sales or is it REO business?
So, you know, my business is basically broken up into thirds. A third of our business is REO, a third of our business is like institutional. And in that institutional, like, you know, I consider everybody who does multiple transactions, 10 plus assets, and moves, you know, multiple properties a year. That's what I call institutional.
Right.
It might be a small, you know, investment group, or it might be a very large institutional client that we work with, a couple of them. So that's about a third of our business. And then a third is just your traditional mom and pop, traditional real estate.
That's your bread and butter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eddie, so with COVID hitting all across our country, and times have changed, we've had to pivot a little. Where do you see the Miami market headed?
You know, it's funny because if you would ask me that in March, April, I would have said it's not looking pretty.
Right.
But you wouldn't have expected interest rates to drop the way they did with the Fed. And so now real estate values are going strong. I'm an optimist by nature most of the time. Here in this case, I'm not very confident what's going to happen in 2021. I feel there's like two possibilities, you know, and it can go either way.
Right.
On one side of it, I see, you know, the economic stimulus will eventually run out, and then what will happen is will that be enough? Will that have been enough? Right. Also, you know, factors of what the government actually does, any more in stimulus that might happen that can impact that as well. So it's hard to say. It's really a hard call.
Yeah.
If I had to pick it, I would say it definitely needs to cool down quite a bit, and it probably will. But I don't expect definitely another 2008. That's for sure.
No, and I agree with you, and I think we've spoken about that a lot in the past, and even at our REO conferences that we've attended, you know, they would say, hey, they're coming, and this was even pre-COVID, but it's not going to be as bad as a 2008 recession. We don't see the crazy loans out there like we did back then, and I think that there will be some help that is given, and the people that can be saved will be saved.
Yeah.
Eddie, let me ask you a question. So you've got 4 kids between the ages of 10 and 16, beautiful wife. You're a great family man as well as a great businessman. We talked a little bit about this in the airport. How do you manage your family and work? What do you do to make sure that your family gets the attention that they need?
It's I'm a big believer. I used to try to balance, and now I do more of a counterbalance, right? So a lot of work and then a lot of play, and when I'm at home, I'm at home and I'm disconnected. And when I'm at work and I'm disconnected.
Yeah,
And they understand that, right? So when I'm working, I'm working. And when I'm home, I'm home. And
you give them your attention. Let me ask you,
what I got, right? Yeah.
One of the things I remember about you, and I was so impressed, is you said, Brad, you said, I have 4 assistants or 4 buyer's agents, and every one of us works one weekend. Is that still the case, or was it before?
Well, it's not like, but I do. I mean, I honor my weekends are sacred. Sundays is, you get me to
football, baby.
Football. Yeah. No, I'm going to be with the family. I'm going to forget about it. So, again, I don't think a new agent can afford to do that. And I wouldn't recommend that to a new agent coming on. You coming on as a new agent, you better get ready.
You better be working nights and weekends all the time, right? Exactly.
You get to earn that position to be where you can make those choices, then have people on your team that can handle that.
But for people, so Eddie, for people who maybe are a little bit more experienced listening to this podcast and they're figuring out a way to build a team, like I said, one of the things I was really impressed with, you made sure when we were speaking, and I hope you don't mind me sharing that somebody was always available from your team on a weekend, that you felt it was very important to be with your family on a weekend as well, but you knew how important your clients were and you wanted to make sure that someone was available to do what needed to be done.
Yeah, that's
right. So it's obtainable to manage both. And the other thing too is I speak a lot about strategy and having a strategy. Now, Eddie, I was listening to your podcast or your YouTube channel with your partner. I'm not even going to attempt to say his name because it was the way you say it is so beautiful. And I was like, I'm not going to butcher his name. The name of your company is called Stratwell. For those of you who don't know about Stratwell, I love the way they came up with the name, and I hope that you don't mind me sharing this, but Eddie and his partner believe in strategy, and not only strategy, but doing a strategy well. Doing a strategy well is the key to anything in life. So they named their company Stratwell. I think it's brilliant. I love it. And I really like the fact that you wear it almost as a badge that you're more of a boutique company.
For sure.
That you really are client based, that you are customer service oriented, and that you have a strategy, kind of like making sure that everyone works a weekend or that your clients are always taken care of.
Right. And I mean, it's a lot of people think in binaries, right? Like either you're going to be successful or as a realtor, meaning that you have to work 7 days a week, 24/7, or you're going to be a good father or you're going to have some time off. And you don't have to look at it binary. You can do both. You just have to think about it and crack your brain on it and figure out what works for you. It may not, what we do may not work for
somebody else. Everyone has to find a strategy. And when I started in the business, and we've been in the business the same amount of time, 1998, I started in February.
Me too.
Did you? Yeah, February 1998. That's funny.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I made a commitment when I got into real estate I was single at the time, but I was going to just do what I had to do to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nights, weekends. I didn't care. I was single. I met my wife in 2003, and married in 2004, kids in 2005. And once I had those beautiful babies, as you did, I said to myself, you know what? I am going to make an effort to be home every day by 5 o'clock. If my clients need me, I will take their calls in an office away in like a room. But I wanted to make sure that if I walked out of that office downstairs, that I was there for my family. I had to take a call. So I made a conscious effort to do that. And now my kids are almost 16, and it's worked out really well because I've been there as a father and I'm still a successful agent. So again, it might not work for everyone, but that's what worked for me.
Exactly.
And I was impressed with you having, similar, your attitude is, hey, I'm home, leave me alone. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is not, we're not heart surgeons, right?
No. No,
and the communication is clear with the customers, and they understand, and you kind of basically get them to understand that.
look, and I'm sure you say to them, if there's a fire, I will put it
Of
out.
course, of
But
course,
but if my assistant can show you a house, listen, we all know that a monkey could open the door, of a house,
right,
and anyone can open a door. So you have me for negotiating. You have my staff who I trust and I hired because they're a representation of me
right.
to do the other things that I don't specialize in.
Correct, Brad. And the other thing is that if you're proactive about how you manage your customers and they're getting all the answers before they're asking them,
Right.
and your team's doing a good job managing the client expectations and
That's right.
communication, then they're not all frazzled and all spazzed out all the time.
No, and
You
it's
know,
communication. You tell
yeah,
them from the beginning, and you
right,
communicate what your expectations are. I've always told agents, never be afraid to fire a client,
right,
buyer, a seller. If you guys aren't meshing well, and they're causing you more stress and damage to your psyche, then they're not the right fit. They're going to
right.
be for someone, but don't don't let that run your life. There's
Right. Or don't, and also forget about firing, right? Just don't even hire that
Yeah,
client. I mean,
that's exactly correct.
there's some listings that I've just walked away
Me
from,
too. Yeah,
right at the table, because I'm like, yeah, look, I don't think it's going to be a match. I
that's
appreciate your
it.
time. Thank you very much. You know, it's not going to be a match. Maybe I can find another agent that can work with you better,
Yeah.
and you guys can click together. I think it's important. No, we really have to, honestly, I mean, if you feel like the client doesn't trust you and you're not able to get that
You're
rapport built,
destined for
you're
damage. Yeah.
destined for failure, because they're going to
Yeah.
be questioning every decision all the way through, and it's exhausting. And
Yeah.
and you may not be the best person to serve them, right? And if the most professional thing you can do is bow out and maybe refer to somebody who more their personality style.
I agree. And so Eddie, going on that, and that might be part of my next question, but what advice can you give to a new or struggling agent that someone's getting into the business, or maybe who's been in the business a while, but they're just struggling and they're not sure how to just get to that next level?
Listen, I can speak to struggling, because when I first started 6 months in real estate, I didn't have a single paycheck to my name,
Yeah.
not a rental, not a
Yeah.
sale,
Yeah.
not a hope for one. And I
Yeah.
almost gave up. I
Yeah.
almost gave up. So my advice is, get ready to get knocked down and get up again,
Yeah.
and just get ready for that, and understand the mindset that you cannot watch a Brad and say, wow, I want to be like Brad, and tomorrow I'm going to be like Brad. No, you gotta, you gotta,
Takes time.
yeah, you gotta hustle it, and understand that there's a lot of failure. And the other thing I would say to new agent is, understand this is a game of building relationships, right?
That's
And the
right.
best relationship you can build is the relationship with yourself, right? So there's a lot of work to be done on a personal level, and that
Yes.
personal growth will help you on your business growth. The better you know you, the better you'll know your people, and the better you can connect with clients. And when you can connect with your clients at a deeper level, they're not there for the transaction; they're there because of you and because of the relationship you have.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, the respect is there. That's some really great advice. And when I'm teaching agents, I try to tell them that everyone has their struggles, right?
Yeah.
Those struggles are going to be who make you who you are. When I got my license in '98, my mom was diagnosed at 54 with Alzheimer's.
Oh wow.
54 years
Good
old.
deal.
And I don't know if I ever told you this story, Eddie, but I was actually taking her with me on appointments, and bringing her into the office and sitting her in a corner and saying, Mom, I need to write this offer. I'm going to take you to McDonald's and get you a filet of fish, and we'll go to the arcade after. She had turned into, I was like my mother's father, believe
Wow.
it. And between myself and my brother and my sisters, we were all taking turns, and I was just trying to break into real estate. And a
Wow.
lot of people, would say to me, oh my God, I'm so sorry you have your mom. I said, this is who I am. This is what makes me who I am as a person. And yeah, we all struggle.
Right.
And those were some of the best times in my life.
Yeah.
My
I
mom
agree.
around, God rest her soul. So
I agree with that 100%, and that's an amazing story. Thanks for
thank
sharing
you.
that.
Thank you.
I would say to agents, I'd say, there was a time in my career that I was a trainer for new agents and Coldwell Banker,
Yeah.
and I say, setting goals is not about the goal. It's not about the accomplishment of the goal. It's about who you become in the process of
Yeah.
going after the goal. It's about the personal growth because that you can take, you have success, you make a lot of money, you have a nice car, you have a nice house on financial side, all that can go away. But the character that was built in the process of attaining those things stays with you. And that's why you see these people that's why you see these people that hit big success. They have a failure, they go right back to success because who they are is success. It's not that they're just having a bout of success. You know what I mean? So that's important. That's important to understand that.
It's not about how hard you fall. It's how quickly you can get back up, right?
That's for sure.
No, I agree with that. So Eddie, for people who want to maybe build a team, what advice can you give them? How many team members do you have? Is there like a formula that you have?
Here's it's simple. My formula is this. Well, we have 5 people on our team, right? That's our staff team. What I would say is you gotta make a list of the things that you do on a daily basis and figure out which of those things are X amount of dollars worth of hours. And that might be $12, $15, $20, $30 an hour. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, is my time worth that amount of dollars?
Right.
And if the answer is no, then you find somebody to do those things for that amount of money.
That's a great point.
Right. And so you just break it down that way and you start with the things that you're most willing to let go of control. That might be, pulling a list of the listings and sold, setting up appointments for you, going through your database and cleaning it up, making sure your schedule's on point. That might be
such a great point.
Whatever you need, but don't sub out your time for something you could be paying somebody $15 an hour for.
Such a great point. Yeah. Such a great point. Focus on the things that are worth your time and show your self-worth, right?
Right.
That's amazing.
I've got it down to the point where all I do is meet with the seller, discuss strategy and list the property. And I won't talk to that seller again until it's time for review of a contract. Yeah. And then I'm there at closing. That's it.
Yeah, that's all you really need to
Everything else is handled by
negotiating. You might communicate. And that's,
it's offer contract. That's it. Listen at the right price. Then we step in negotiation, get the property in the contract, and then go back to closing. Now, if during the inspection or during the appraisal and the negotiation comes back up, I jump in there. Right. But everything else, I don't need to be doing that. Yeah. Set up appointments, be there for the appraisal, be there for the inspections, be there for this.
Right.
It's not necessary.
Eddie, what's your morning routine like?
Morning routine is very important to me. I think every agent, if there's one thing you do that you need to do, is every human being actually, and I find is to make sure you put you first. So my morning routine is I wake up, I meditate 15 minutes, and I do some type of exercise. Sometimes exercise is like 10 push-ups, 10 squats.
Whatever, right.
But sometimes it's running 3 miles, sometimes it's, go to the gym and do a full workout.
Yeah.
But I got to do some amount of exercise just to get my body moving. Yeah. Some little bit of yoga, get that body moving.
You need to feed your body and soul.
Yeah. I do a little bit of reading and writing. I read some of a book whatever book I'm reading, and then I do a little journaling. That gets me going. And then from then I start on kind of adjusting my schedule for the day. And then at 9 o'clock, I'm on the phone. I mean, I made a commitment to be on the phone at least an hour.
Who are you calling?
I call SOI, my sphere of influence. Okay, that's where it's at.
And what is if I can ask you, what does a normal introduction on a call for a sphere of influence sound like?
All right. So I'll say, I'll call it depending on my strategy, right? So sometimes we do like quarterly events, right? So then I'll be promoting a quarterly event. Hey, I wanted to call you, let you know that we're doing this, on that Thanksgiving, we're going to be giving away turkeys. And I wanted to find out if you wanted a turkey or if you knew somebody in family of me that would want one of these turkeys. Okay, great. Oh yeah, sure. No, yeah. Hey, by the way, that way on the phone.
That's a great strategy, Eddie.
Yeah, that's one way. And then the other thing I might say is, I might call them and be like, hey, listen, I'm reaching out to you because we are selling faster than we can, we are selling properties faster than we can list them. And we have a bunch of people looking. And I thought, who better to call than to call you to see if you know anybody that's looking to sell, because we have buyers. Simple. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science.
I was an actor for many years. I don't know if you remember me telling you that, but part of my, spiel when I started in 1998, I'm sure yours was too. I just picked up the phone book. We didn't really have the internet then. Remember?
Oh, yeah, that's old school.
I picked up the regular phone book and I'd take my finger, I go calling here, and then I'd start and I just go down and go, hi, this is Brad with Pinnacle, and I would get people that would say, come on over. It was amazing. All I had to do was call. Yeah. And the more people I used to
do the door knocking. That was my thing. But
door knocking too. Door knocking was great, and my thing too. But with phone calls, people would say, I can't handle it because they might hang up on me. And I'd say, great, you're closer to a yes. I had a guy one time, and I had about 10 agents around watching me because I loved to call people. And the guy says, I'm going to die in this house. And I said, sir, I completely get it, but I want you to know that I'm really committed to the business and that I'm really good at follow-up. So if you wouldn't mind telling me who your beneficiary is and about when you think you may die, I'd like to put you in my book. And the guy went, oh, and then he started laughing. And it became a great little banter between he and I. But everyone around me goes, oh my God, you can talk to people like that. I said, I was respectful and nice, and they want to see you have a personality. And they were trying to get me off the phone, but I overcame the objection.
Right.
And that's all life
Awesome.
is, right?
Yeah, and that takes a skill. That takes a skill. That's what everybody wants to buy leads. And I said, don't buy leads. You're not. If you're a new agent, you want to know a piece of advice I would have said. I should have said is don't buy leads when you're a new agent. And the reason you don't want to buy leads when you're a new agent is because you're going to screw up all that money because you're not going to be good at converting leads. You want to pick up the phone, do a free leads, and convert and learn how to objection handle on a bunch of people you have no idea who they are.
I agree.
And then the other people you should be focusing on is your sphere of influence. But some people have a limited sphere of influence, and I mean, you can't call the same 36 people every day.
But their sphere of influence can get bigger than they even think it is if they put some time and thought into it. And that's part of what I do when I'm coaching, is I try to show people that they know more people than they think.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got to go through the whole list of the ABCs of careers. Like,
that's it.
What accountants do you know? What CPAs do you know? You know,
ask them for a chance and don't screw up.
Yeah,
Eddie, let me ask you, how can a buyer or a seller or an agent maybe who wants to work with you, how could somebody get a hold of you if they wanted to?
The easiest way is to reach out to me on the phone, 305-403-6446, 305-403-6446. You could also Google Stratwell and find our YouTube channel and our social media pages. That's another way to reach out to us and connect if you just want to, just get connected with us.
Perfect. Eddie, I want to say thank you so much for coming today. You've been an incredible guest. It's been great seeing you.
A pleasure, Brad. Thank you. I appreciate you reaching out and connecting with us again. I look forward to maybe we said we'd see each other in a year, and then COVID hit, and here we are. So we're seeing each other.
Yes,
right?
We are. We didn't lie. We held to what we said. However, hopefully we can see each other again in person. And guys, anyone who's listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or any of your major podcast networks, you can also catch Eddie's full interview on our YouTube channel, which is ATRE Podcast. If you'd like to find out how you can get me to coach you, or you'd like my 5 secrets to see how you can make money today in real estate, go on to my website, atrepodcast.com. Thanks.
Good stuff.